Welcome to the Fifth Trooper podcast.
Welcome to the Fifth Trooper. This is Evan. Today I have with me two Nicks, a double Nick attack. I've got Nick L.
You're surrounded.
Surrounded by
Hey
Nicks.
guys.
And then a special guest, Nick Probnar. How you doing?
Hey there, everyone. Hey, Evan. Hello, Nick. Thank you for having me.
So what
What's going on?
So Nick, what else? If no one's listened to you or unfamiliar with you, what do you do? What's your thing?
So I am one of the founding members of the Legion 99 podcast. I also run a lot of events on the East Coast. So you may know me from last year's Atlantic City Open, PAX Unplugged. If you're very local to the Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, I run some local tournaments as well. And we're getting ready to do Atlantic City Open again in like a week and a half.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, I'm
That's
excited.
coming.
It's getting close, man.
It's
It's right there.
It's
Literally.
Atlantic City Open is like the event's awesome. I love it. Like you guys did a bang up job last year, considering it was like the only one too. Like you think
it was like the second one out of the pandemic, basically.
Yeah.
Second or third. Like they did Rocky Top, but it was real small last year.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they said it
They
was
had-
10. Rocky Top was 10 people last year.
Something like that, 10 or 20. And then they did, I think Dallas Open had happened. That was rather big. I remember that being it was bigger last year, I think, than this year.
And then you like knocked out of the park to me anyway. Considering you had like it was just you, right? Like that's what a lot of people
Yeah,
don't
pretty
understand.
much.
It's like it was
Yeah.
you and the labor of love. It wasn't like, I mean, FLG was there, but they weren't like, I don't know.
They're still new to Legion. Yeah,
Yes.
they're still very new to
Yes.
Legion. It's still very new to Legion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a dig, but like they just don't know. They're like, here's some tables, go for
This
it. I
isn't
guess.
40K.
Some people spent their first year and a half in the pandemic like painting minis. Some people just played video games. I bought a second 3D printer with my first stimulus check, and I just started making terrain.
Yeah, honestly, when I was
I
at
haven't-
PAX, people would come up and compliment your tables like all the time.
PAX was awesome.
Yep.
That was
Speaking
that
of
was so
3D
much fun.
printers, nerdy question there for a second. Is that a Prusa and an Ender 5 back there?
It is a Prusa and a CR10S Pro version 2
Ah.
because all the
Ooh.
names.
Yes.
That was
the more names it has, the better it is.
I started with an Ender 3, so I don't have
I did
that
too.
one anymore. Yeah, it's the best one to start with. That's just
Yeah.
learn it and either love it or hate it. But you just
That's
gotta
fair.
figure it out. Yeah.
I'm in the I've got so many, I'm traveling to so many events and my work takes a lot of my time that I'd get one, but I'm not saying you don't have free time. I'm saying I just don't have time to like dedicate to it. Right. Like it's
All right. So let's talk about that actually. So there are printers like the Ender 3
Mhm.
that actually take a bit of like setup time, a little bit more finicky.
Yes.
But there are other printers that are pretty decent out of the box. You pay for it a little bit more,
Mhm.
but I think and you might be able to back me up on this, Prusas have been pretty great out of the box.
So
and they have a
this is-
Prusa,
yeah,
they have a Prusa Mini. That's
do.
still, I mean, Mini is a subjective term. It's still got a pretty decent
Yeah.
build area.
uh-huh.
And it's not that expensive. It's like what, 300 ish?
It might be around that. Yeah. So my first printer was an Ender 3 Pro. I printed some pretty shitty terrain on it at first. I realized it was basically broken when I bought it.
Ah.
Replaced a lot of the consumables for like $50, put it back together, and it worked great. I picked up the CR10 at the start of the pandemic with basically my entire first stimulus check because it was
Yeah.
like, what else was I going to do?
sure.
And that one was literally open the box and it was good to go. And I've had, other than like replacing parts that go bad in them, like over time, like I've had very little issue, like with that thing running pretty well. Then I ended up replacing my Ender last fall with a Prusa Mark III Pro Plus, something like that. Whatever one they
Yeah.
were selling at the time, because they only sell a few models at a time. That one took the most effort to put together. It took like 12 hours, 15 hours to put
Yes,
together.
it did.
Oh my god.
I saw
It's
that
like
and
a
like,
dream.
pay for assembly. Who would do something like
like-
that? That's a waste of
Oh,
money.
yeah.
I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Oh no, never again.
It's like a Lego. It's like a Lego set for super nerds.
Yeah.
Literally, everything's in separate bags and boxes. They give you great instructions, and they give you a little bag of gummy bears.
The
to,
gummy
like,
bears,
snack
yep.
on during it. They tell you how many
Yeah.
gummy bears to eat. It's
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty.
spectacular.
That's
After you
pretty good,
finish
actually.
each step, you have a proportional gummy bear reward.
That's
I
pretty
had-
good, actually.
It's,
And I've had like one, not a major issue with the Prusa, but it was like they don't work very well with cheap PLA. So I fixed that pretty quickly thanks to my buddy Keegan. His business partner runs Prusas like 24/7. So
Okay.
that was convenient. It's convenient friendship.
what do you?
Dang.
I use Hatchbox. I haven't had any issues with it. What do you run?
I usually use Overture Hatchbox PLA in my CR10, and that's what I was using in the Prusa. But there's like, apparently there's known issues where they can occasionally like clog from PLA. They don't like the hot end clogs. And then I was just told to upgrade to Pet G, and that's what I did, and it's been running fine. It's just
cool.
like
Cool.
Dang. Okay.
All right, and
So,
that's our bi-weekly 3D printer segment.
Yay!
Tune in to the Fifth Trooper.
It's cool. Like it's so
Yeah.
I'm not a good train builder. Like
Sure.
out of like I can't just take stuff and make sweet terrain. And so anything I can buy, or actually I was looking at a minute ago. I've got a Death Ray Designs. So I really like Death Ray Design stuff, especially their sci-fi terrain. And I've got I've actually just got in my Frontline Gaming New Sierras or Neon Angeles. They're like neon city matte. Because I like it because it's bright. It looks. I'm really just tired of like dirt or snow
That makes
or
sense.
broken 40K landscape. So like I bought that and
Ruined
I bought
city.
a lot of this.
Man,
Yeah,
I
right.
was
Ruined
in-
city.
I was in my LGS the other day or last week, and they were talking about, one of the mini guys was like, because I used to leave terrain there, and I picked it up a long time ago because they're not open for in-store play right now. They're waiting to move to a new store, whatever. But they were talking. They asked me like, "Oh, when you picked your terrain up, did you have the little vinyl rivers in your box?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Well, we don't know where they went." And somebody was like, "Oh, they probably threw them away." And he's like, "Why would you throw them away? Like that's terrain." And he's like, "Oh, well, we don't really use that in 40K." He's like, "I don't care. What?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh yeah."
It's funny, 40K players, when we do Star Wars Day at my local, they come over and they're like, well, I mean, that looks pretty good, you know, because they're like, their train's like, this is the layout. Here's your square halves. This is your train. This is the
Yeah.
It's the Nova L's.
yeah, right. It's so I've got a lot of this, and I was looking for. I need a little bit more because I made a really good kill team board out of it.
Mhm.
I own this mat like 2 or 3 times at this point for different like sizes of games I want to play. But you have some like amazing stuff. Do you make a lot of that? Do you design that, or do you find like how do you do that?
I'm at the mercy of what other people will design, and I'm able to print.
Okay.
I wish I've like looked at some of the like the design programs before, but it's like way above. And like we're kind of at this point, even with Legion. Well, like especially with like just the sci-fi like themes in general, there's a lot out there. And
Yeah.
like Star Wars is big, like there's a lot of different settings, so you can pull from all kinds of different like
Thingiverse is fantastic.
Thingiverse. And then when you want to start paying a little bit of money, like I always recommend Imperial Terrain. Like I
Yep.
just love their stuff.
Imperial Train's great.
And then there's so many
Does-
others.
Does Imperial Terrain sell the STLs?
They do.
Okay.
And they have a huge catalog.
Yep.
Love
I know we just had Evan, you can correct me if I get the name wrong. It's ZZM Armory.
Yep.
We just,
I have a bunch of his stuff now recently.
yeah, he has a bunch of.
He makes.
I think he specializes in ships, and they look
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
awesome.
He makes some really good like what we were talking about before, and you know you can give your thoughts on this because you're like to me you're the terrain guy. You're among other things, but you're like
That's fine. I'll accept that.
when people go like who's got sweet terrain, I'm like, oh, Nick Broad, like not even like a Nick B, not even a question, right? Like his tables just look yours look the most like TTS tables for better and worse, you know, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like when I started like before ACO, like I had these boxes of terrain that I'd printed like a couple months before ACO. And it's like, all right, well, I gotta put these in, I gotta like turn these into tables. And like that's where like my buddy Mike helped me a lot. Cirillo, Legion 99, he used to be with you guys.
Yep.
Everybody knows who he is. But like he was a big help. So were like my other friends at Legion 99 and like all my other Legion friends that I've met over the last few years. Like, and it's like we kind of did like it's like, well, like this template works, and it's like, you know, for better or worse. Like there's some issue. I have some issues still with some TTS tables.
Yes.
But like
Yep.
we learn from that, right?
Yep.
It's like it's like I've had issues with tables at every event. Like there's like not every one of them was perfect. Like I think overall ACO last year, everybody was quite pleased with what I put together, but there were still some, like we took some feedback, and I think like all the tables I brought last year, like not a single one of them hasn't been touched since then. Like there's something different. If you see them at ACO this year, like there's going to be something that wasn't there, or like, you know, maybe it's got more terrain, maybe it's got more area terrain, but like I talked to Mike about that a couple weeks ago. I'm like, man, it's like I think I've like literally changed something on every single table from last year.
Well, yeah, like it's
And
the
then
game
added to
evolves,
it.
right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like I was building this
Yeah.
sci-fi city terrain, and I've got everything's heavy cover. I'm realizing, and I'm like, well, that sucks. You know, like that's not like I want to have like to me,
Yeah.
you know, like I have this perfection in my head. I'm like, well, we light
You want this
area,
perfect
and
balance. Yeah.
yeah, and so I'm like, well, what do I do for that? And then it's tough making like because I hate when you get into a board that's just all heavy, and you and your opponent are like you're trying to find an excuse to maybe that's light terrain just to have something else. Like, well, maybe the rocks are made of sand and the shoots
Yeah.
shoot through the sand, right? Like it's
Mhm.
so yeah, it's
like-
tables tough. Tables are tough.
Yeah, and you were saying specifically like the desert table. I just finished up like a Jakku table.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like got all the crash ships and
That's
rocks
cool.
and shit.
Yeah.
And I decided that like for area terrain, I've got these like giant like smoke pumes that like I made with tea lights. Yeah, it came out pretty good. Like there's actually like tea lights on it, so you can take them off because it's area terrain, so it's like abstract. Like you can move through it. So it's like
this zone is
And one of my friends was like, "Oh, I hate that." He's like, "I absolutely hate that." And I'm like, "Well, just take them off then." He's like, "It looks really cool, but I just like I hate the smoke." And I'm like, "Well, too bad. I don't care."
Yeah. Well, too bad. It
works. It's light area terrain on a desert table, and that's like hard to like.
Yeah, because what do you do?
it's
Like
really hard to do.
Mud puddle, you know, it's no, I think that's actually really smart. It's you're having to think outside the box a lot of times to make interesting engagements. So like again, I won't jump back to him, but the death ray design, they have this giant like corporate HQ thing, and I'm like, oh, that looks sick on that table. But I have to think, can anything even use it? Like, can like
is it so big? Is it just like that big? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a giant, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, it goes right in the middle. It's the centerpiece. But then, God forbid, you have to put a supply up there. Yeah, hostage or supply up there. It's just like that's where it lives now. I'm like, well, okay, that's shoot. So
I've got like the Mos Eisley table at like my LGS. I leave it there most of the time, and it's got that giant, like the giant tower you see in A New Hope when they're driving by.
Yeah,
you see the giant tower. Well, I printed that from Thingiverse because, like, again, like it's like, oh, well, this will only take me like 4.5 days and like a whole roll of PLA, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
So we did it, and like I always like I'll watch people like as they're setting up the table, and like they want to put it in the center because it's like it draws your attention. You see, I'm like, don't put that in the center because what are you gonna do on hostage exchange? Because it's like height 3 to the top. It's like you can't get down. Not even like a Mando squad could get up there, grab the hostage, and get down.
It's
wild.
It goes. The problem is because it's cool though. I mean, that's why they do it, right? Like it's cool. Like you want to have this cool thing. But we ran into that a lot where like when you're building a table, you're like, well, I want something in the middle to fight over. I want this piece. So like there's been a lot of like we cut a Kleenex box in half at one point, and we're like, there, it's a platform that you can clamber up or something, whatever. So it's tough because you want the table to look cool, but it's also a game, and that's why my deep down, I really just want a VR board, like an old school, like a Metal Gear Solid 2 training level, where it's just like just VR table, and then the trains just like for light train, you can have little data, like broken data bits, and then
like almost like a hologram.
Right, like a little junk, and then you can have all your trains just squares and boxes and maybe triangles if you don't want them to climb it, and it just makes it like very easy to navigate, very readable, and I mean it's not like super cool, but you could make it like not Geonosis, the clone training, Camino training. You could do that if you want to. I think that'd be fine. That's been my dream table in my head. I just haven't found a good, like the Frontline Gaming, again, not keep plugging them, whatever. The Frontline Gaming, they have the Necron mats, and they're close. They're close. They're just like blue and green, but quite what I want. So I don't know. It's one of those dream ones. Maybe I'll just buy like a blank like a white empty mat and just use markers or something at this point. I'm just like the madness in me needs to be released to like make this. So I'll disappear from the Legion scene for like half a year and I'll come out with this like golden mat. That's my dream has come true. But all right, cool. So hey Nick L this time.
Hey,
Sorry, Nick.
hey.
Okay, all right. I'll do Nick L, Nick B. My bad. Whoops. Why don't you give us a quick rundown at your time at Rocky Top?
All right. So Rocky Top was this last weekend. It actually was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it grew substantially since last time. It was put on by the Stabcast guys. They ran a awesome event, especially for how much it grew. I was talking to Ryan there, and says the last Rocky Top was 10 players, and this one ended up being 51.
Okay, that's quite big change.
Yeah, a pretty big boost in growth there. And
I mean, he sold like every ticket at one point.
yeah, he was sold out at 64.
He was sold out.
There was a lot of like swaps and stuff going on. Like, yeah, it was huge. Ended up going down to 51, but still it's very impressive, especially for something that's not really on either coast. Knoxville's not exactly like a major area, but it was awesome. And we had people coming from all around. I think we had like 10 people all come up in a group from Florida.
Damn. All right.
We had some from Wisconsin. We had some from Georgia. Obviously, some of the Stabcast guys were there. It was pretty awesome. I was
sad I could not go.
Yeah, me too.
It was really cool. The tables looked fantastic for like how much I knew they had to just like suddenly just put together some tables. They all looked really good. I'm sure there'll be some pictures floating around at some point.
Yeah, it's good to see it. So I'm always afraid, deep down in my mind, I bought in. So you spent your like recover the economy stimulus check. Jeez, I was just gonna make up words until I got what I wanted. Your stimulus check on like something useful, and I bought in hard to I bought in hard to dust tactics with mine. Yeah. So if you want to talk about whoops.
Oh man.
Now what's funny is we're circle back on that real quick. And so I bought it. The game died over the pandemic, which is a real bummer. Because the game was actually super cool. I thought like super fast, whatever. But now I'm going to turn them into like Legion models, more or less, with some of the just going to alt proxy, just whatever I want, whatever. I'll live in a cave with my models. But it just made me think of like, man, you did something good with yours. Now I'm like sitting on this pile. I've got like 3 armies for a game that like nobody's even heard of anymore. But sorry, Grammar.
No, you're good. I'm actually I'm going to send you something here while we're talking about Rocky Top.
Yeah, I was trying to make your list. And
I'm actually sending it to you.
The hate in my heart can't quite make it.
Yeah, it's just too much burning.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Spider droids and Magna Guard. All my favorites.
You know what? You are. Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
So, yeah, it is gross. It is
real cool.
It is everything you would expect to hate from droids.
It's the problem is like, like it's enemy number 1 right now for a lot of folks, and I'm in that camp. But like honestly, okay, every army gets its time. Every army gets to be good. They're allowed to be good for X amount of months. And this is just good right now. Will it change after Shadow Collective? We don't know. So like there's a lot of pitchforks and torches, and I know I carry plenty of them for all this. But I think it's just like, you know what? It's their time to be good. It's okay.
And I will say there is a lot of pitchfork rallies and stuff.
Nick B, why don't you jump in real quick? I saw you.
No, I mean like I've been playing droids like mostly for a while now, pretty much around when this like the Magna Guards all came out and everything. And like they're definitely really really good, and they're probably a little bit too good. But like you said, like they have their time in the sun, and it'll be something else's turn soon, I'm sure. Don't know what it is yet. But
I mean, how long have you been playing total, Nick?
Since the game came out. I was there on release day assembling my models at my LGS.
Okay, yeah. All right, me too. All right. So
like
we've seen, man, it was Veer's Bikes, and then it was Sniper Wars, and then it was what was the next really bad thing? Was it
Sniper Wars.
It was Sniper
I think
Wars.
Sniper Wars led into Shores, and then Shores led into Tauntauns.
No, Tawns were first because Tawns technically came out first, so it was like Tawns and Shores were kind of together for a while, but like
yeah.
And then and then they nerfed comms relay.
Yeah, right. Then it was Tons, and then it was I forget what the bad guy was after that, but there's always going to be a bad guy. So like my
I think it went from Tawns to Rex.
Oh yes, yeah.
It went in. Shores were still really good even after the comms relay. They were still pretty good. So
it took there was a second nerf to Shores on the command card that coordinated fire.
Mm-hmm. It took a while, but clones just caught up. It was like everything just started getting really good. It was like, oh, this is good, but they're still can't get to like 11 acts yet. And then they got arcs, and it was like, oh, well,
oh no.
Now this is like they went from like it's like phase 2s, and then like it was Rex phase 2s, and then the arc strikes, and it was just like they just went from like a 5 when they released to like a 12.
No, it's
and like they just outpaced everything, and then they had just finished nerfing Empire for like the final time, and then like Republic players just stepped on Empire.
Oh dude, I remember the dark days of just like, I'm supposed to be the gunline army. You were supposed to be the gunline army, right? It's just, so I guess where I was going with this is like, yeah, it's easy to hate them, and I will always hate Magna Guard. Do you remember in the movie when 4 Magna Guard came up and beat up Lord Vader from 0 to from full out to 0 in one swing? God, that was my favorite part of the movie.
My favorite part in LVO was when I was playing doubles with Zach Florf the Dwarf on Discord, Zach Arbula. We were playing doubles, and we were playing against Imperials at round 1, and we were playing Dooku Maul and double Magna each. And basically, we were like, how many Magnus can we each take? And we took that many, and like they dove, like Vader kind of like went for the center near the end, and like there were like 4 Magna Guards there, so Vader got beat up.
Oh yeah, immediately.
Really bad.
I was playing Lupo, and he did 9 damage into me, and then like 8, and I'm like, I was like, this is bad. But my whole speech is, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, that's what I want to talk about. So on the if you want to pull it up, Evan, on the Fifth Trooper website, we have a like stat page, and we actually just like today, as the day of recording, pulled up where you can see like a given unit's win rate.
Tournament stats, is that it?
No. Yeah, go to global unit stats up there, the top middle.
Global unit stats, single stat. Unit. Okay.
Yeah. So switch over to CIS and hit Kalani.
Oh, CIS.
Oh, Kalani's pretty good.
Yeah, Kalani. Yeah.
So just for an example here, so we can see that, Kalani's got a 55% win rate.
That's pretty good. Anything over 50.
That's obviously, that's good, but that's not the dark days anymore.
Yeah, okay. Rough. Let's about this rough unit. How about we get how about your super tack? Oh, he's 52 as well. I think I'm seeing a trend here. All right. Darth about Dooku. All right, there we go. That's about right. That's high, like 50s, like in like League of Legends, right? If a hero had like 50 something win rate, that's pretty substantial.
Well, but, I mean, he's a little below average, Dooku, but just like I think he's like a game below even or something like that.
Honorable soldier.
Oh no! Don't click that one.
Oh,
don't click that
one. No, my boy, they're doing my boy wrong. But no, to your point, 55 isn't like it'd be. Oh God, what was it like?
For 55 to be the top of the heap, I don't think that's not bad.
That's fine. Take like Dragon Ball Z Fighters right now. Z Fighters. It's been out for a few years, and I follow fighting game tournaments pretty closely. I used to play a lot, but the like to comparison, the last DLC fighter out of like the 22 top players, 20 or 19 took her because she's that good. That's a problem, right? That's an actual problem where you're like, hey, top 19 of our tournament took the best character in the game. Maybe we should look at that. Whereas this is, it's a little bit harder to like piece out because different factions, but
what was it last ACO? Rex was, I think, like 5 of the top 8 or 3.
Yeah, Rex
Yeah.
clones.
Like
I remember.
I
remember grumbling about that. I'm
Yeah.
like, they're clones, and
they had already got
Yeah.
nerfed once.
Yeah. Yo, Cirillo did that nasty. He did that nasty like scout trooper move, the scouting party into like a hostage. He did something really good.
Oh, he played hostage, I think, like 4 of his 5 games, and Rex on hostage gets to scout the hostage.
Insane.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Actually good. He's like the one time when you don't have a force user and they do, where maybe hostage isn't just like totes. Like it's like, cool, man, thanks for coming. But yeah, no, Cirillo was a machine with that. Scary. But yeah, so I keep going, Nick. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Which one?
Either Nick.
You said Nick again.
Okay, Nick. All right. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
All right. So, and that's the thing. This list it does overperform a little bit. I will be the first to admit that, but it's not the dark days anymore. But also, and the thing about it is, it overperforms. But actually, I'm kind of hoping it gets nerfed a little bit, because I actually really like the list like archetype style of majority gun line, but you still have some like flex melee units that can kind of contribute a little bit, but they get to actually, they can still like move up and do something, give you a little bit more play than just, I'm going to sit back and shoot you.
So that's actually, I think Iden's like, so, right. Everyone's talking about, droid gun line being really good. It is. But there's always that shark underneath the water who you don't see. You see the giant sea monster like ravaging, and eventually the people kill it, and then that shark shows up. And I wonder if it's Iden Tac Strike, because Tac Strike's a card where it's just so good against everything. Like, you got armor? No, you don't.
Crits.
Yeah, you don't anymore. You don't.
I think that shark under the water has a green lightsaber.
Yoda?
No, well, it could be Yoda, but I think the bigger shark is Luke still. Luke. I think the best overall list in Legion is still the Jedi Luke DLT gun line.
It's really strong.
Oh, yeah, that's the wrong one, Evan.
Yeah, I'm like, oof. Ooh. Where are you? Oh, he's an operative. That's right. Yeah, that's. I mean, look how many times he was taken. Like, that's
and that's him over all lists, not just the hot metal one.
So the DLT gun line, the worst part about it is it's like the damage output isn't like insane. It's pretty good, but it's just so unfun to shoot into, because you're like, they're rebels behind heavy cover. They have 2 to 3 dodges. They have nimble. They have SA. So you shoot, you get a good shot, and you're like, haha, full, like 5 hits, take 2 away from cover, and they're like, boop, boop, and they roll and they save it, and you're like, okay. It's just like, it feels like you don't get anywhere shooting. I mean, that's the point. Like, that's the point.
Yeah, it's a very tough list.
It just doesn't go anywhere. Have you run that much, Nick B?
Yeah. I played against it a few times. It's like the natural like predator is high velocity. Like, that's really good. But you either have to take an AAT, or you have to take crappy snipers that like you get like 1 hit every like 5 rolls.
Yep.
So it's like, if they're in heavy cover, like, you're still not going to do more than 1, like more than usually every other round, even with aims. So it's like, it's the answers, like, its natural predators aren't very good, or they're very good, but like the problem with AATs is that ion spiders are so good. So
yes, it gets pushed out. Yeah,
you get pushed out by ion spiders.
It's ion. So it's that problem. We kind of mentioned this a week ago or last time, is like, ion's either too good where it's unfun. X-Wing had the problem. There's a lot of good if you go back to like way down the rabbit chain, I think of Gold Squadron or the Crates, they had Alex on, one of the developers. I think it was Alex Davey, and he talked about how ion, he's like, because the same thing in Legion, he's like, it's either too good where it's unfun, it's ruling the game, no one wants to do it, or it's so bad no one's taking it and it's a useless game mechanic. And Legion, it's my biggest thing is like as a person who plays this game at this point, like as a career, I guess. I don't know. I played all the time. Like it's a problem.
Yeah.
But like
you are professional.
Yeah, maybe just debatable. I at this point I can like I know how to deal with it. My biggest fear always is like new guy comes in, spends $60 on a tank. He's like, oh man, this is my first tank. He paints it, so proud of it, puts it on the table, and he's really ready to go. And then he never gets to use it, or maybe once. And he's like, this game
I'll
sucks.
confess, I think I did that to somebody, but
yeah, like and they're like, this game sucks. Why'd I spend $60?
Like you see, like the creep in the ion weapons that like we saw before that, where they were all impact 1, they all exhausted, they were all really expensive, and then oh, here's this spider droid that can always get an order, can take link targeting array for a name, and can recover every turn, and it has impact 2. And it rolls 6 dice, and it gets to reroll 4 dice when it aims.
Dude,
it's just like
so good.
And it's like they turned them up to 11. It's like it's wild.
Yeah,
it like, feels like the spider. It feels like this wave, like droids just have like between the spider, the madness, and the super attack. Like everything is good, but like they didn't like test it. It almost feels like my theory is it wasn't like tested together.
Oh,
I think it's really the combination.
Well, even if it was, it's like as
I don't think ion spiders are nearly as scary if they don't have a super attack to
the
get
problem
them
is
orders.
like it's the playtesters only have so much time. And like it's not always easy to see the combos. So they like on the outside, they're like, yeah, this seems fine. Maybe I'm gonna play it with this and not, really combo chain. Like, yeah, it's okay. It shoots every other turn, whatever. And then it hits the public, and the public just ruin it. I remember my favorite quote ever was like the guys who make Guild Ball, Steamforged Games, are like, our competitive scene ruined our game. We're not making it anymore. And I'm like, oh, gee. Okay, first up, blaming the players, rough stance to take. But it's that same idea where it's like the good stuff will be found, right? Like the good combos will just be like sussed out. Magic cards, Magic does it all the time. They have a ban list. I would like I don't want to get too in my pie in the sky ideas where I want to see seasons in Legion. Like, hey, go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
AMG has a ban list for Crisis Protocol.
They do, and I didn't think that would ever come, honestly.
It happened quick too.
Yeah, and Crisis Protocol is like kind of a casual game. Like,
yeah, there were some broken things when I used to play it. Like, and like the ones that they banned were the broken things.
Yeah, they got rid of them. Like,
really
sorry,
bad.
Sorry, get rid of them. And so I'm hoping. Like I don't want to. I mean, honestly, you know what? Okay, I do want to see a ban list. Only because it really helped a game I used to love called Warhammer Underworlds. Loved Underworlds. You build decks, you got an army. It was card building, miniature fighting, but the game got so twisted that the good stuff was just so good. Everybody took it. It wasn't like, but when you get to this much stuff, it's hard. I know I'm in the minority when I want ban lists, or like maybe actually Cirillo had mentioned it to me a while ago, of seasons where like, hey, this 4-month period, these are the objectives you use during competitive play. Like we make new ones, and then the next season, here's some new objectives you play, and it kind of rotates. So it makes you like stay on your toes.
And also like it also changes your meta for you.
Yes.
Like, and adapts to it. Yeah.
And it's a pack of cards. It's just a pack of cards, right? We're not even talking like models or anything. You could sell me a $10 pack of cards saying, hey, if you want to play competitive, this is it. Otherwise, if you want to play kitchen, you can use all of them anytime you want, because we know like probably 80% of our people who play this game are probably playing on the kitchen table. And that's a thing, right? It's we have to remember that we're in a bubble of we really care about the game like a lot. And there's a lot of people out there who just like, my roommate here is bought some Rebels, and he wants to paint them with his daughter and play with me in like skirmish and stuff. Like he just doesn't care. He does not care about what the win rate of a thing is. He just wants to like have a good time. And it's unfortunately they have to balance those two, right? And that's a tough line to walk. So even though again it goes back to my like, hey, even though stuff's good, man, just fine. They'll figure it out. They know. It's very, with all the screaming we do about everything, I doubt they don't know that spiders are good. Right? Like ion spiders are good. Magnas are good.
Man. But right before Ion Spiders came out, there was armor everywhere.
Oh,
A5s,
true.
AATs, ATSTs, saber tanks, like, and it's all gone.
Yeah, right,
It's
dude.
all gone.
I actually stumbled into a lot of it at Rocky Top, and
that doesn't surprise me.
Circle our way.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah.
But actually, speaking of, I'll go ahead and get through that real quick. So Rocky Top ended up being a 5-round tournament, which I actually really liked. At this size, for 5 rounds, we weren't guaranteed to have just one undefeated player. They actually ended up working out that way, but
sure.
I think it's worth it. Being the more relaxed schedule, not trying to just shove everything into a quick day, just made it so much more enjoyable to play. Like Adepticon 4 games a day was rough. It sure really was. But so I'll just run through my games real quick. I started off round 1 against one of the Stabcast locals. His name was Brandon Johnson. He was running a 12-act Maul Staps list. It was pretty scary.
Yeah.
He's running Maul decked out with push, throw, the usual stuff. Triple Staps, a completely naked Kalani, Maul's probes, and 6 naked B1s.
Okay. All right.
And we ended up playing Intercept, and on Hemden I was blue. So he dove his Staps in and actually hit me really, really hard. Like I believe his first 2 Staps in killed a spider.
Oh, no,
not one squad, but the first 2 squads in just killed the spider. And then
critical X is a hell of a drug.
By turn 2, both my spiders were dead. Like it was rough. But I did end up managing to kill all the Staps. Madness took down Maul, and but we actually only made it to turn 4, like barely. We only finished turn 3 like 2 minutes before like the extra 15-minute time was called, and I ended up losing 3-4.
Rip.
With by one unit on the middle objective with 2 Madness staring down a wall of naked B1s.
It was intercept and it ended turn 4, so the center. So you scored like, instead of it scoring like 1 point each, it scored 3 points each, right?
Yeah. We actually just did it as 2. We forgot about the extra 1, but
sure.
Yeah, it was it was rough. But it's all right. It was a casual like tournament. It was a really good game. So I wasn't like, trying to harp for time or anything. But the good news is all my other games finished like half an hour early plus. So
yeah, that's good. During my I don't think a single game I had at Adepticon went to time. I play quick for better or for worse. I just want to get to turn 6, even if it hurts me, just to get there.
He was a pretty casual player. He repeated that a lot. He wasn't the quickest. He was all right. I actually didn't notice, but he was I really don't think he was trying to game me at all. Like he was just a newer guy.
Sometimes it happens, man.
Yeah, he actually, but I say that, and he went 3-0 on day 1. But then his record was 3-0 because he didn't show up for day 2. He just dropped.
Oh man, okay, damn.
That's all. He was only going to play one day. He just showed up, went 3-0, and like, all right, good, peace out.
It's with that many activation lists and that many miles to move, it's a pain, man. Like when we play in TTS, like God darn, do I not want to play droids, because I'm just like, just move.
I was going to if I had more time. So I got sent on a work trip to LA that entire week before. I got back like late Thursday night, like after midnight, Friday morning. I had to work Friday, and then I just grabbed my bag and drove 8 hours to get to Rocky Top. But if I had more time, I actually probably would have ran Empire, just because I didn't want to run Separatists
all those
again and mess with all the models.
All right, give me rapid fire your next games. Just like give me a couple big hits here.
All right, big hits. ended up playing against a Saber Tank list round 2 from Aaron Gandy. That one, unfortunately, the Saber Tank got ion spidered and was not loving life.
Big rip.
Yeah, it got to shoot once, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, it was that was a rough one. Played a Vaps game as blue against a list that I actually really like as Empire. It was Veers, Iden, Inferno Squad, and the Baron Rudor Lat.
Okay. Yep.
And that's kind of what I was talking to you, Evan, actually about a little bit before we started the cast. I like the Rudor Lat as a heavy that you don't have to pay attention to.
Yeah, it's super good. I think
it controls itself. So if you have other focus pieces, you don't have to worry about it. I think that's its one little niche.
Sure.
But ended up holding the line pretty good on that one. So I won a 4-4 Vaps tie.
Oh, all right.
But won on kill points.
Man, real quick. Vaps sucks, right? Like, does anyone enjoy playing Vaps? I mean, I guess that's just like Vaps is miserable because, man, I hate Vaps.
I think Vaps is only miserable gun line versus gun line. Because one side's at a pretty huge disadvantage. If there's melee units mixing it up, you got like threats of like hostile like Vap taps and stuff. And
I just tend to put my Vaps like closer to their end, so I have to go I move my whole army up just to go fight them and fight over Vaps because I just hate that like. Oh well, Nick, you were there. Like we're each gonna hide both of ours and we're gonna snipe each other for 2 hours, and then whoever killed more snipers wins. Like that's welcome to competitive Legion.
I think, yeah. I mean, Vaps sucks so much unless you have like secret mission or you have like an infiltrate unit that can like pressure an opponent's Vap early.
Yep, because they'll usually put like nobody's there, button pushers to go push the buttons. But man, and then the meta used to be for Rebels, you take Chewie. Not because he did anything cool, but because he could take sniper hits away from your snipers. Like, like it was the worst. Hey, do you remember in the movies when Snoopy took took a bunch of sniper shots for all of his buddies? Like, no, I don't. Man, I'm so bitter.
Yes, you are.
That's fine. I just
salt. Everything is salt. Even the air is salt.
It's fine. Yeah, the air is salt. The ground's salt. Sorry.
All right, so that was round 3. I do like the list, but unfortunately didn't pan out for him. Round 4, I actually ended up playing just a double airspeeder list.
Okay.
That was a little scarier, but it actually had Commander Luke in it as like a budget way to get some Jedi action in there. The downside was he didn't really have any control over his airspeeders, so when they came up and the stack and my spiders were ready, he just kind of skirted them around the side to hold off for a turn, and my spiders just, instead of shooting the airspeeders, they just shot his army. They didn't really have a whole lot of beef, so unfortunately that one didn't go too well for him either. But the real gem here is at round 5 when I played against Stabcast Will. We were both 3-1 at this point, and Will was playing for best Gar.
Oh,
with Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Obi-Annie. Wow. The dream.
Yep. It was a pretty cool list. It was Obi-Annie, Anakin. I think they were both packing Seize the Initiative.
Yeah, of course.
Both packing Force Push. Annie had Throw. Obi had Barrier.
Yeah.
And I think Obi-Wan was rocking Vigilance in his command slot.
Yep. That sounds about right.
And then he had 2 phase 1s naked, 2 phase 2s naked for some surges. And he had a couple naked Barks and a laser cannon ATRT.
Sure.
So
he made 3-1 with it at that point.
Decent filler. Yeah, he was doing all right. But
he plays a lot of last time I played against Will was in Invader League like 2 or 3 seasons ago, and he was playing like Obi-Wan back then, so like he knows his way around those guys.
Good. Yeah.
He did very well. He pulled off actually a sneaky Anakin saber throw fire support that I didn't see coming because Anakin didn't have Relentless up yet.
Yeah.
But he just did like a single move throw and hit my Magnus with it. I'm like, oh no,
they're dead.
This is gonna hurt. It did. It killed like 2.5 of them.
Oh god.
But at that point, Anakin had taken a bunch of like just shots from B1s, and then the other squad of Magnas, he was half dead, and the other squad of Magnas ran up and just bonked him. So Anakin actually ended up dying turn 2, and I had enough of a deployment advantage. He put all of his vehicles on one flank. It was hemmed in. I was blue, so he put all of his vehicles on one side with a couple of clones and on intercept. So he had 2 clones to push the point and his vehicles to support them, and the other side had 2 clones and his Jedi. And I had the middle and trying to pick a flank. But I put my spiders down after he put his vehicles down, so they dueled it out, and turns out spiders are good in a vehicle fight.
Wow, no way.
Yep, crazy.
Whoa.
So
honestly,
they made short work of that flank.
If somebody who's playing Obi started to play me and he goes, "Hey, I'm just gonna play like they have teamwork keyword," I'd go, "Okay."
Dude, I think
whatever.
they should get it.
Absolutely.
Teamwork.
Like just make Obi's 3-pip if Anakin's with you permanent, gain teamwork. And cool. That's what I want to do, man. Like they're on the card. They're on the card back to back.
I think both Obi-Wan and Ahsoka should get teamwork Anakin.
I paid my taxes. I pay my dollars. Give me something.
That's spicy.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with Obi is like you're so top heavy that if they die, it's just
oof. And that's unfortunately what happened. So I ended up getting Anakin down turn 2.
Oh.
And Obi went down. He held on for a bit longer. Obi went down turn 4.
Yeah.
And then that's when we called it, because it was going to be he would get 1 point on his anti-Obi side. He would get the point on turn 2, and he got the point on turn 4. But beyond that, I actually was going to score every other possible point, because I had pushed with enough B1s on his clone side to take it 3-2, and the middle was all me. So it was we actually ended up calling it after turn 4, but we talked it out, and I was at 10-2. So that was it was a rough one, but we talked about it after the game, and it was with an Obi any list like that. It was never going to be a close game. One of us was going to roll over the other one.
Oh, well, it's like the old Knights games of 40K when you have the giant Knights. It's one person's going to have a very bad time. Either the person with the Knights because they got countered that hard, or the guy playing the Knights because he just wiped you off the table. So it's what it is.
That's just not going to be a close one way or another. But
my ending question
down before they get to me.
Did you have a good time?
I had a fantastic time. We all went out to eat after day 1 at this what was referred to as a beer castle. It was like this German like brewery and restaurant place that had like this castle motif all around it and live band. It was really cool.
The one thing that the X-Wing community has over Legion is just like they're a lot more tight knit because they've been around longer. And they used to call it the best thing about X-Wing weekend is going out before X-Wing and then after X-Wing. Like X-Wing is just a means to meet your friends again and then do stuff afterwards. And I really like when Legion turns into that, when it's like, yeah, we're here. Like, I'm here to play the game, but I'm really just looking forward to having a beer with the Nick B after, like, and not caring, right? Like
it's starting to feel that way though.
Yeah, we're getting there.
I get what you're saying, because like I was X-Wing before Legion, so it's like I totally get what you're saying, where you're coming from. It's like I love, like, for the most part, I love the community.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Yeah. It's we have a lot of we're in a weird mix where we're like, Alex Davey was like, no, it's a casual game, but everyone's like, we're not gonna play it like that. And so we have a weird like a thing where it was, I know Alex isn't in the mix anymore, but he'll always be my heart. He'll always be my heart about it. So it's like I always think about that when people get upset about like why my snowtrooper toys are making their droid toys sad. And I'm like, yeah, man, like I don't know, dude, it's just a flamethrower. Like get over it, I guess. But
anyway, let me put a pin in Rocky Top here. So managed to beat Stabcast Will. Ended up going 4-1 overall, and ended up in 5th place.
hey,
That's a really close competition though. Let me pull it up so I don't get the numbers wrong. The difference between it was It was margin of victory scoring, so not straight schedule. The difference between second place and me at fifth was less than 0.05 battle points.
Dang.
It was a real close race there for 2 through 5. It was a hell of a tournament, and I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, man. What's your next one?
I think it's gonna be Gen Con.
Gen Con? Yeah, dude.
Nice.
We'll do Gen Con next. We'll talk about the next kind of how overwhelmed I am about everything here. But the more important one is ACO.
Yes, ACO.
We got the man here for it. So why don't you run down me a little bit about ACO because we're so close.
All right, so ACO happening next weekend. So June 10th, 11th, and 12th.
It is next weekend, isn't it?
It's
Holy
next
shit! Like, oh my god, that's
I
so
was-
close.
I was packing terrain.
it's not the
like an hour ago.
Oh.
no, it's weekend after next.
Well, yeah, because
Like,
next
it's like-
weekend,
It's like 10 days, 9 days.
yeah, it's getting close. It's the 9th, so it's
Yeah.
week after.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
10, yep. So it's at Harrah's Resort in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Not much to say about the venue. So I mean, like I was really hoping this year to get like much bigger numbers than last year, but there's a lot of events going on and the community's way better for it. And ACO was an expensive ticket. So, but what do you get for that ticket? I think you get to play on some of the best terrain, period, bar none.
Seconded.
Yeah, thank you. I think most people who've been to like some of my recent events will tell you that. Again, that's not saying like I see some great stuff at every event. Everybody's doing a great job. And like Rocky Top looked like so much fun, and I was so jealous I couldn't be there. They also had Richmond Open in Virginia this weekend too.
Okay.
And that was like their first time.
Oh,
doing that.
and there was a Legion by the Bay too, wasn't there?
Legion
Yeah,
by the
Legion
Bay
by
as
the
well.
Bay.
Yeah, that's like the other side of the country.
Yeah.
I was in
Keegan
California.
was there, but yeah,
Man.
they had like 20 or so people for that.
Good lord.
Legion's like exploding like
Yeah.
on these events, and that's great. But what I decided to do last year is because like I didn't know how much terrain like that I would be able to source from the community, so I did a heat-based event. So it was like there was up to 32 player heat Friday and Saturday that funneled into a top 8 on Sunday. That's all we did last year because it was like, I didn't start planning it until about 3 months before. Like that was when I got the first email about like potentially doing it. Was like 3 months before the event. It was like sometime in March or April. But this year I've been working like ever since ACO. It's like, getting all the great feedback I got. It's like I just didn't stop making terrain essentially. So like I'm always working on more terrain. I've like doubled the amount of terrain I own.
Damn. All right.
Since last year. It's pretty crazy. And it's I was hoping for a much bigger turnout, but like I said, it's a rather expensive ticket. The airfare has been crazy. Like people just can't afford to like fly in for it that wanted to come. And the resort's kind of expensive compared to like, the hotel that people were staying at with Rocky Top, or even like Lone Star Open is like, it was cheaper. So, but we're going to have probably about the same amount of numbers as last year, it looks like. I should get an update from Frontline about like signups over the weekend because I think I had like a little surge, which is great to see. But it looks like we're probably going to be around the same, except there's going to be more people playing Friday than Saturday. It was flipped last year, but there's also going to be skirmish events on Saturday and Sunday. So
And I just want to say it's very cool that you're doing that because there's nothing worse than I didn't mean to jump in here on you, but it's good. You play, let's say you play Friday, then Saturday, Sunday, there's skirmish events. So you just got something to look forward to because one of my buddies who's going, Chris from Canto Bite, he's like, I don't understand Legion because there's not like side events. So if you just play and that's all you're going for, there's nothing to do while you're like, maybe you make it to the end or not. And I'm like, well, normally, yes, but ACO is actually doing the skirmish events, which are included with your ticket, if I'm correct.
Yes, it is a little vague, and that's kind of on me. But like, we kind of changed the plan last minute on that. But like, yes, it's like, so if you come and you play, if you're playing in Friday's heat, a lot of people are. Some people are just playing in Saturday's heat. I imagine there's going to be extra tables on Friday, so people that roll in on Friday will be able to get a pickup game in probably during the event. But yeah, if you're playing Friday, you get to play in skirmish on Saturday. And if you did well enough, like you won all your games on Friday, or you went 2-1 and you snuck into the cut, because someone will sneak into the cut, I think.
Yeah.
Unless we get that 32. If you don't make cut, you'll get to play skirmish again on Sunday if you want to, or you can just go home.
And that's rad, man. Because like I'm going with a couple buddies, and he's playing Lord of the Rings, I think, on Sunday.
I think you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, what am I like? So I'm like, I don't want to do anything else. Like, I just want to play Legion. So it's nice to be able to just like do a whatever skirmish tournament. Like, yeah, I brought nothing but Wookiees. Here we go. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's I think that's actually really righteous, because it's you don't see a lot of other places thinking like that, and it sucks. So I'm really happy that, like, because you know what, honestly, you're right. I think a lot of it is out of the reason why the numbers aren't where you think they, are trending to is out of your control. Like nothing,
I think it's all out of my control.
Yeah.
Finally, like the last few weeks, I've finally like accepted that. Whereas like, a month ago I was upset, and it was like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it now. It's
dude.
And also like the other thing, I think the big thing is that like Adepticon, great job at Adepticon, by the way, Evan. I haven't talked to you.
Oh yeah, thank you,
man, on that top 4, right?
I appreciate that. Yeah,
Congrats. World's invite. I'll see you there.
Get the Vader lad again.
So that had invites.
Yeah.
As soon as Adepticon was announced that they'd have invites, and that was like maybe like 6 weeks before only, or
that was
relatively recently.
Yes, it was absolutely.
Everybody was messaging me, oh, is ACO's getting invites, right? I'm like, I'm trying, like I'm asking, I can't, but that's something else that's out of my control. I can't complain about that. Like that's not something like I have a say in. I tried and it's like every event. Rocky Top tried to get invites. Like every event's trying to get invites, and it's like they're not going to give them out to just everybody. And that's like
it's
it's like if I had an invite to give out, I probably would have had 20 more people, is my guess.
Yeah.
Is that, like I would have had a lot more people willing to like pay $1,000 to come to play a few games of Legion. They would have paid that if I had invites.
Sure. And it's weird. So like, right, the first year's Worlds was 8 people.
Yep.
Right. And that was that, like it was nothing.
Yeah.
It was nothing. And now there's got to be hundreds of invites out. So I wonder if this is me speaking off the cuff. I associate with nobody. And I wonder if it's just like, I'm not a playtester for anything. I don't do anything. It's just me in my room
just
with
your
my
raccoon business.
with all my dollies behind me on my table here. So I wonder if they oversold and they're like, oh crap, there's like 3 years of invites. Do we have room for all these people?
So I won I got my invite at one of the RPQs, which was like the first.
I've got one too. Yeah.
Yeah. I got one. It was one of the last ones. It was like November before the pandemic. And then they started the Prime Championships immediately after that.
Yes.
And like, I remember I went to one, I didn't win, not obviously, I didn't win.
Yeah.
But like, I remember going to that and they were like, oh, if you win one of the Prime Championships, you can come to Adepticon in March, which is in like 2 months, and compete in this Worlds, or you can wait to the next.
Yes.
If you already had an invite, you can't win a second invite and hold it. It was like you could have one. If you won the Prime Championship, you could wait until the following year to go. And everybody was like, oh, I'll probably wait then. It'll be more time to plan and practice and everything. And then it's like, and then it got delayed, and people were like, oh, I guess Worlds will just be enormous next time. And now they're giving out invites again. And it's like,
you know what? It's weird because I have this moral
but they're not
dilemma.
flooding it with invites anymore. Like
not as much as you think.
Yeah, I didn't play back when it was like for the art, or I played, but I didn't like play competitively back when it was like the RPQ days or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the only tournament I've been to that's been handing out invites was last Adepticon. Yeah. And I made day 2, but not well enough to get the invites. So I am still inviteless.
Top 4, so
yeah. I have this moral dilemma now when I play. And it's really weird. So it's because I want to just play Legion. I'm just there. I like the game. I love the game. I love the people. I love hanging out with my friends. I love seeing Nik Brobnar and because I don't get to see you, right? Like this is the only time where I actually go and get to hang out with you for a little while, right? Like it's so I want to go and I want to play, but when I start winning a little bit, I'm like, oh, I just knocked that guy's chance out. Oh, I just knocked that guy's chance out, and they burn them now, right? It's not roll down. So if I get. So when I got my official little Worlds thing at Adepticon, that just made my RPQ won't evaporate, which I don't even know if the store sent in that I want it. So who knows if that was like actually even like a real thing anyway. But it's like there's this moral dilemma in me that's like, do I sacrifice my love of the game to let somebody else get a shot, or do I just play and I'm like becoming like a weird gatekeeper, not in a negative gatekeeper way, but like I'm like, if you can beat me, then yeah, you've got a good chance. I don't know. It's like weird. Like I had this weird thing about it, and I know it's kind of a weird thing to bring up about games, but it's like some people really want to go, man. And like I chased that X-Wing Dragon for 4 years and I never got a Worlds invite. And I spent so much gosh darn money, hotels, traveling, events, right? Like I was going everywhere every
feels
weekend.
Like there's always like way more people that exist in that game than like what
Yeah,
have at Legion. And I don't know if that's true, but like, man, like yeah, X-Wing is super competitive, and like it's I remember when I went to like my first
game.
like big regional, and that was like before K-Wings and shit. This is a long time ago. And it was like, I remember like it was a different world. I was like, oh yeah, I'm hoping to make day 2. If I win 4 games, I'll make day 2. And it was like, I think I went like 3-3 or something like that. And I wasn't like upset about it, but it was like, it was really hard.
Yeah. No, like we had the Boo Open in Syracuse, and that had like 240 people show up for it. Mm-hmm. Imagine that for Legion. Right, like that. Those are I want those numbers. Those are rookie numbers now.
The logistics of that is wild, though.
Yes, yeah. Right. So okay, yeah.
It's a problem I want to see solved correctly. Of course,
it's so I've got the sneaking suspicion that it's gonna be a hot take that X-Wing's like the perfect miniature game, not perfect overall, a lot of problem, whatever, but like for like doing any event out, because you just roll out a mat.
It is, yeah.
And then everybody brings their little rock pictures.
Cardboard.
I put googly eyes on mine. You know, like they bring the little rocks, and that's it. You just need space. You need nothing else. Like that's why. I mean, we were joking back. I think in the Nova chat in the big Discord. There's pictures of like the Nova terrain from that one year, and you were talking. You know, you were in there talking about it.
I was at all the Novas.
Yeah, and that was like, I'm gonna. Per say it lightly, it was dog do. Straight. I'm going to say it very HR because I have some other. Talk to me offline when you want some other strong words I have for that. But it was some real. I remember setting up a table because I helped set them up. Because I got there early. I like Legion. I like being in the community. I want to go help. And I opened the first bin, and I remember talking to the guy who was like bringing stuff. I'm like, oh, someone forgot half the terrain in here. And they go, nope, that's the whole thing. And I'm like, what? I was like, so I put a couple tables up, like, yeah, guys, real tired, gotta go, don't want to be associated with this. So like, because it was like then, yeah, it was.
I won't forget before the second Nova, because like it was like, oh, it should be better. They made more terrain, and I remember like one of my friends was there playing on Friday or on Thursday, and I wasn't playing till Friday, and I was like, oh, how are the tables? He's like, you should bring Empire.
Yeah, because that was it. It was A or B, right? Yeah.
He's like, I was like, yeah, I'm bringing Tons, and he's like, you should consider bringing Empire.
Yes. Yep. Man. Like yeah, people when terrible. They like people at Adepticon, you know, like not like they had like tons of tables, and they're like very critiqueful of some of them that were fine. And I'm like, look, man, you know, amateurs, you don't know what it's like going to Nova when they had nothing, like 4 pieces of terrain. So it's a wild. But yeah, Atlantic City Open. There's still spots open. Run back to that.
As long as you can buy tickets, there's spots open.
Yep,
and bring more terrain, guys. That's a problem I love seeing.
That'd be great. Like the more people, I want to go and just. I'll be there Friday. I'm not playing Friday, so if anyone wants to pick up game, I'll be around. I'm playing Saturday, and I'll be playing Saturday, and then Sunday I'm sure I'll be hanging around. So if you want to grab a beer not from anywhere in there, I guess there's like there's like the cash bar that's like up where they did last time. That was like reasonable price.
I'm hoping that there's more stuff open this year than there was last year, and theoretically it should be better. Like it can't be worse, right?
Yeah, juice. So okay, that pool is $40. That pool is $40 to go into, and if it's a nightclub, it's $50 cover fee. We did not go in. Luke Cook did. I'll sell him out. Luke Cook jumped in there immediately, but he's also champion. But yeah, so like what I meant about out of your control, like, dude, you're doing everything you can. You're talking it up. You're bringing everything. You're a positive person in the community, right? Like people want to go to your events. And
yeah, I think so.
So you've done all the legwork. You have a podcast talking about like you literally can do no more. Like if it doesn't like fill up, there's no world invite, which is a thing, right? Like whatever.
But there's cool trophies. You can win a cool trophy.
So there are sick trophies, and I'll tell you what, when I brought
call our cards. When
I got back from Adepticon, and I was telling my guys at work who don't play, and they're like, "Well, what'd you win?" And I since I was fourth, I didn't get best in faction or the fourth anything. I just got that little disc. Yeah, and everyone else got handed trophies and medals. And I'm just like here's your disc off the stage. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Oh, well, hold on. Where's it at?
Yeah, here it comes. He got this skirmish.
Like this one.
For skirmish. Look at that. I didn't get nothing cool. But I pulled out my little disc that said
for the people at home, that is me being incredibly sarcastic. I would 100% trade places with Evan if I could.
Have you ever seen the RPQ trophies?
Oh, dude,
I have one of
they're
those.
sick. I didn't get one of those. They're so good.
The glass ones.
Oh, dude, they're so sick. Back when pour one out for the good times. Yeah, it was like that cool glass, like double.
This is the only thing I have over Cirillo, guys, because he doesn't have one.
Oh man, dude, it's so good.
He's top 4 at every event he's played in, but I have a trophy.
You know what? What's funny though is that is cooler to the people who aren't in the circle, right? So I got out and I'm like, hey guys, I won this, and you want a coaster? And I'm like, no, it's got my world invite on it. I'm like, well, what do you do with it? I'm like,
the data disc.
Yeah, well, it gets me in. They're like, well, you can use that as a coaster. I'm like, it's not a coaster. Then I go to Kanto, and I won the best Highlander list. And I got a little trophy. They made a sweet little plaque and everything on it. And they're like, wow, that's really cool. Like, people care more about the trophy than the world invite. Mm-hmm. I guarantee it. They'll want to know more about what you got. Especially if you're getting up models. You're putting out models and putting them on there. And
I printed out, Darkfire Designs is sponsoring the event too. So they're giving us some prize support too.
That's sick.
They're giving us download codes and stuff for top finishers and everything. But he gave me a bunch of free files, and I have a resin printer that I don't like to use because it's dangerous and I don't like being safe.
Sure.
And I scaled them.
Toss-It Tomb's bad.
Yeah, I scaled them all up at 175%, spray painted them gold, put them on a little piece of wood that I finished pretty well. There's a little plaque on it.
Yeah, they look sick, dude.
They look great. Yeah. They did them at SoCal Open last year, and so shout out to Lance, who was the TO there, and he walked me through doing them myself. They weren't the cheapest thing to do, but they weren't the most expensive thing to do either. So
yeah, Kanto did them too, and you know what, man? Because you get the invite and it's cool, and it means you get
trophies are cool.
Yeah, but trophies are cool though. Yeah, right. Exactly. You want to see my wall of trophies? Yeah. I have none. I have none.
I have 14 trophies.
Holy crap! Oh my god!
I was expecting bigger numbers, so I prepared for 4. I prepared for more actually, but I scaled it down a little bit the last few weeks. And I was like, oh, this is good. So I have top 4. I have 2 for each skirmish event, and I have 2 for each heat for painted. So best painted army, best painted model.
That's sick.
For
all
each heat. So
that's good.
So I can judge them we can judge them separately. My judge team, my crack judge team.
Crack judge team.
And then I have a couple extra for best sportsmanship. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna have a little form to fill out, a piece of paper, and you're gonna pick your favorite person you played that day. Who was your favorite opponent to play?
Cool.
So that way, somebody can win something even if they won no games.
Yeah,
it'll likely be somebody near the bottom, and and they're just having fun, they're having a great time, and that's who, and I actually haven't talked about this yet because I find I finish stuff up. Yeah, so it's even if you don't win any games, you can still win something, and obviously we have sweet all our cards.
Yes,
you've probably seen them, the B ones, the
they're
phase
sick.
ones,
yeah.
The rebel troopers, the stormtroopers. I have them, they're awesome. A couple of my local game stores went out of their way and got us some of the new unnatural resources kits. So I have 1 million copies of Force Push in various nice. So literally, yeah.
Do you have any of the alt language ones?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. Because
I've got a German one.
German, Spanish, and English and French.
I'm gonna need a French one, I think. Mactos. All right. I got one last thing for you before we sign off, Nick. Both Nicks, actually.
All right.
We're going to do a try by trash on the new bounty hunters.
Ooh.
Oh,
okay.
All right, let's
my
run
favorite.
through the cards real quick. Let's hit it real quick.
So big changes. We'll go through the list really light here.
right.
Boba Fett got a little cheaper.
He did not actually.
Oh, he didn't.
That's he is the same as his errated cost.
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Independent.
He picked up independent. He picked up a comm slot,
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah,
and he picked
that's
up
huge.
an extra dice on his boot spike.
Yep.
His wrist rockets, and they picked up versatile.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping you'd get 6 for hit points. I know it's like a dream, but I've always kind of anyway.
Yeah.
Blanks hurt. But all right, boom. So Boba Fett.
Boost.
I just get a boost. I just get like real sad when I like, oh, he gets better.
Yeah,
And
I was
CIS
actually
gets it.
really surprised that Bosch gotten any buffs at all.
Yeah.
Boss seemed fine before.
Yeah. So now
I
he's,
like scale though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
he should have had
scale's
that
fine.
in the errata.
Yeah,
If
he
nothing
should've
else,
had
scales like
errata.
it just cleans up the card.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay, fine. Scale. He's a lizard. He's got scales.
Yeah.
So he's got that. Yeah, that's it. That's but independent surge. So if he doesn't get an action, a token, he gets 2 surge tokens.
Only for defense, but I mean, still doubles his
Surging
chance
on
of saving some
defense
stuff.
is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Uh,
the
that-
big one is
well, he picked up independent surge too. Got his keywords combined to scale. You can take him in CIS now,
yeah, that's actually
which is
pretty big.
dope. And he got 10 points cheaper.
Yeah, he didn't.
He did?
Yeah, he got 10
he's
points
105 now.
I didn't even notice that.
He's
It's been a day. It's been a day.
yeah, no, that's fine. He's already like just so good. Okay, I'm not mad. Okay. But all right, and then
All right.
the Cad
Cad
Bane.
Bane. All right. So we'll start with the points again here. Just get it out of the way.
That's
Cad
fine.
Bane got 15 points cheaper.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Look, Cad Bane has done well in recent events. Like he is.
Yeah, he won a Decepticon, didn't he?
He might have, and then he came in like 2nd or 3rd at Cherokee.
Oh damn! All right, really?
Yeah. Yep. My buddy Preston. He finished like 2nd or 3rd with Cad in his list.
Huh.
Before this.
Man. Okay, maybe
So he
is it?
picked up-
Go on.
He picked up 15 points cheaper. His danger sense is up by 1, so it's danger sense 3 as opposed to 2.
Yeah, that's-
Independent dodge 2.
That's so crazy.
He got an extra training slot,
Yep.
and he went from surge hit to surge crit.
That's what he should have had surge crit to begin with.
He should have, but
They had this point when they
I think,
released him and
I've
Padme
always
where they got
liked characters
scared.
with that.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
scared about surge crits. So they got
well,
knocked-
Padme doesn't have surge crits, so you can't fire support for surge crit.
I think it's the
guess.
same reason Chewie and Gar doesn't have it either.
Same thing. But RT is everything. That they've said that. I think they're very careful about what they give surge crit. I think it's just Rex, isn't it? And Jedi.
Anakin.
Yeah. But yeah, that's he should have had that. He's not doing anything crazy. So,
Yeah.
dude, actually, Cad. Okay, but all right. I'm like,
Did he always have the comm slot?
Yeah, he
Yes.
always had a comp.
He always had a comm slot. Okay.
Also, he can be in Empire now, which is
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
yeah, which is neat. All right, Nick Brobnar. Try buy trash. So try use them once, buy you're keeping them forever, and then trash you're throwing them out, never gonna touch them. Who do you? And give me like a sentence at least of like what you're going through your head here.
Yeah.
I love this game.
I'm trying Boba Fett.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm trying him. I don't trust Mando saves.
Yeah.
You're right. 5 health is not a lot. Mando saves really good, but 5 health's not a lot. He's still got to get really close to do a lot of damage too, because like his carbine didn't go up.
Yeah. I was actually kind of hoping that instead of versatile,
a
his
long shot
rockets
or something.
Yeah, would get long
Oh,
shot.
yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been sweet. But yeah, try him. This is tough. I guess I trash Bosk.
Really?
What?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Only because I love this new Cad Bane so much.
Yeah, he's pretty bananas. Yeah.
It's tough. And I'm literally gonna turn around, and if I get a game in this week, I'm gonna play CIS Double Bounty.
Yeah,
it's a
I'm
thing,
looking at it
right?
too.
Like,
I'm turning around. I'm gonna do
okay,
that.
damn. Yeah,
It's only like, I mean, these look so good.
yeah, they're actually, you see on first glance, you're like, oh, they didn't really do much. But when you like, when you really like kind of like focus in, you're like, oh my. No, I don't think that's wrong. I mean, dude, Cat is,
I think Boba Fett's the only one that needed that much help.
yeah,
And like,
I think so.
I get that, like, the way that the mercenaries work now, like, you can't order them normally.
Yeah.
So like, if you bring, I mean, is there even an example in CIS? Everybody has a command slot, right? All the commanders have a command slot. So that's not even a good example. Like, I guess in like Empire, it's like if you want to play Iden and Boba, well, Iden can't issue an order Boba Fett anymore because she doesn't have a command slot.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So she won't, because they said that like that's why the upgrade card, what is it called?
Allies of
Convenience. Or no, Underworld Connections. The upgrade
Allies of Convenience. Yeah. And then you can issue orders to friendly mercenary units.
Ah, okay.
So it's like
interesting.
But like in CIS, like none of that matters because you have perfect order control anyway without your command card.
Yeah.
Because you're just taking like 6B1s and like maybe you're taking a super tack and stabs.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like it's really good. It's all like I don't think that like the only one I think that really needed this help was Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was speaking of CIS list, I was literally just looking at that. Evan, why don't you still got my list pulled up there? Sure, it'd be the same if a Magna Guard disappeared and got replaced with Bosk.
Yeah, right. Like it's you mean you get command cards? Yeah. So yeah, and you've even got
and you get points. You get
like Hunter, Scopes. The only like character you put Scopes on. Yeah, Hunter Scopes. Who cares? You don't care about a bid.
I like bid, but I'd probably take just Scopes and 6-point bid is great.
I'd probably just take Scopes. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Grammar.
All right.
Drive by
so
trash.
I spilled the beans a little bit. So I'll start with my buy.
Yeah.
Because it's Lizard Man right there.
Is it Boosk?
Yeah, it is Boosk. I don't think his independence really that great, but it doesn't matter. He was already good and he's 10 points cheaper.
Honestly, that could be blank. That could be blank. Even scale could be blank, and he would still just be like, all right, I'm gonna put out 3 crits that pierce suppressive, deal with it.
Yeah, and he's got the double shoot card, which is fantastic.
Yeah. As a man who played a lot of Bosk, yes, he does.
I am buying Bosk. Now the try is a little bit more of a decision. I think in the context of me as a CIS player, I think I'm gonna try Cad Bane. Okay. Because I never did before.
Yeah, now he's
you and every other CIS.
Yeah. And a big part of that is CIS lets their independent come into play a lot more. And I think Cad's is really good. Dodge 2 is pretty great.
Silly. What? Yeah.
So that unfortunately means I still have to trash Boba. I think he needed the most help and probably got the least help.
Huh. Did you have something to jump in there, Nick B?
No, I'm just like, I think it's like.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. I'll do, so you know what? I'm going to buy Boba because I think he's, so it's what they want him to do with this is they want him to jump into melee with something, kick something, and then shoot rockets at something. I think that's what they want him to do with like versatile, right? So he can't shoot the rocket at what he's melee kicking. He can shoot it at somebody else, which is cool. Integrated rockets, I think that just means like wrist rocket, back rocket. They're kind of like
that's this little your imagination a little bit about what he's doing from Mando.
Maybe little jets. I don't know. So that's cool. Yeah. Sharpshooter 2 is powerful. Any character who has it should be looked at a little bit at least. Independent aim or dodge. It's fine.
I would say Boba
Cad Bane gets 2 dodge. Why does she get 2 hot dogs and I only get 1? It's too hot. It's fine. It's good. Aim is probably taking an aim for free, and then like maybe Hunter, and then you can make sure your 5 black hit. That's pretty important.
Boba is worth noting. I don't think because you usually don't take his flamethrower anyway.
You know what? No, because generally you're better cards, but with as much the CIS running around now, being able to remove a squad of B1s with Pierce, should be okay.
I mean, yeah, that's
theoretically.
True. I'm just saying if you're not taking it, you get independent that much more often.
Honestly, you probably just take Whipcord Launcher and then you scrap the flamethrower and you scrap the back rocket because that has blast, which I always thought was weird. I always thought that was a weird like future proofing if some character eventually could remove sharpshooter. Like, no, I'm untargetable. I don't know. Maybe that's how it gets around snipers now because they've got the higher cover, right?
Well, sharpshooter still gets around that.
Oh, does it?
Anyway,
oh, okay.
Yeah, if you sharpshooter it, they still don't get anything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I don't know why they did that, but they did. So
it felt like at the time it felt like future proofing. I agree,
Yeah.
But now it feels more like it's like, well, it's all consistent because all the rockets have that.
yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
So jump 2 still good. Movement 3, search crit. So I just always want Boba to be good. So I'm gonna give him another shot. I'm my buy. This is very a shaky buy. I'm like buy. And then definitely Bosk is just he's my try. He's so good. He's God. I know I'm like just humming and hawing. I'm like, man, I can't wait to get clapped by a Kalani double ion droid double bounty list. Like, man, that's gonna feel real great. But yeah, he's just so good now. I mean, I'm wondering, they haven't announced it, so I don't know if they are, but it'd be cool if they got some new cards.
Also,
that might be interesting.
For the record, I will repeat my my tangent that the generic super tact is better than Kalani, especially if you're running double bounty with spiders, because you need them to override those spiders.
And then Cad Bane's good. Like, this is tough because all 3 of these characters are very good. So when I say trash, it's not because I think they're bad. It's because they're all good, and one has to lose. So
we all had different picks.
Yeah, so that's good though, right? It'd be maybe troubling if we're like, that's the best, that's not, and then that's the worst, and all of our views lined up, and they'll be like, that's not what's supposed to happen.
So are we hitting Gar Saxon, or are we saving him for a full-on Shadow Collective special here?
We'll save him for that, just because we've been running about an hour here, and I got some painting to do for ACO actually.
Yeah.
Just to get them 3 color. But no, these were announced today actually. So we actually beat the curse of the podcast where you put out
somehow
like Monday or Sunday, and then new stuff comes out, and you're like, cool. We're a week behind. But
so we say that now something even crazier is gonna get released like tomorrow.
I really hope
extravaganza during ACO is going to be wild.
Oh, dude. AMG, I know you don't listen to us. I know you don't. But if you could just not make it 2 days of a dude painting and then slowly dropping hints about stuff, that would be amazing.
We're going to be playing Legion, and then we can just like everybody else can watch the painting and tell us what happened.
Yeah. Like, look, I want it on my phone or something. Just come out, do what you did the first time. We had a guy come out and he had all the models out and he talked about it. Your painting streams are fine. I just don't want to watch them for critical information about the game I throw thousands of dollars at. Please just tell me. I'm desperate. I'm sad. Give me it. But no, yeah. Any closing thoughts, Nik Brobner?
I just noticed you've been saying my last name wrong.
Oh, have I? Is it Bobner? Bodner. Oh my God. Holy crap.
I was sitting here staring at the little name in the bottom corner of his type. I'm like, maybe it's a typo. I don't know. Evan
You'll get it right next time.
That's fine. My name is Jay never spells my name right in the description of the YouTube videos, so it works out.
Yeah, we're fine. It's a curse of the Knicks, I guess.
Yep.
No, I mean, thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Yeah, no, this is try to do some more cool stuff. I'm hoping with Shadow Collective comes out, it would be maybe some down the line we should do this is just kind of open thinking. It'd be fun to do like a round table. We'll get Cirillo and you and get the Legion 99 guys. We'll do like a cool like after like a couple months it's been out, so we can do like a big brain dump would be pretty fun, right? Just like
it's always fun listening to like other people talk about the stuff that I talk about all the time. Like,
yeah, that's true, right? Like it's
Nick talk about droids. It's like I usually just talk to Mike about droids all the time. So it's like now I get a new opinion.
They're really good.
Yeah,
those B1s, man.
Hey, did you hear we get double bounty now?
Oh yeah. I'm over here like I got this chip on my shoulder where I always have to play what's considered the worst, and I'm playing with Gar, and it's with Empire I could see like a gem in the rough, and there's a lot of rough. Like
here, I think I came up with a sentence that'll really make Evan mad.
All right.
CIS bounty hunters effectively have retinue.
Oh, they do. Yeah. Yeah, why not? Sure. Yeah. Why doesn't anything in that faction just get retinue? It all came together, right?
If Bosk's 2 and 3 pip cards weren't amazing, you just wouldn't take them. Like, I'm like, do I take any of Cad's cards except his 1 pip just to give him free dodges? And
I was considering in my boss list if I would even take this 3 or not.
Yeah.
I'm just taking duck and cover and up close and personal on him all the time.
Yep.
So that like after he shoots, he gets a dodge, and then it's like he'll always have at least 1 danger sense charged up. So if he's got a pile of dodges and you shoot at him, he's just gonna get more suppression and more danger sense, and like he's just gonna be a tank.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of those things I look at and I'm like, do I shoot him? No, it's not the right choice to shoot him, and he just gets away with murder. Like, I mean, he steals babies and stuff, so whatever. Like, can confirm.
He's by far the worst bounty hunter.
And I love, like, in the Book of Boba Fett, like, Boba Fett was a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire. And I'm like, you stole babies. Like, what do we even, like, how does nobody, like, anyway, final thoughts. Nickel, what do you got?
New bounty hunters are all good.
Yeah.
It was
I don't
it
think
pained me to trash Boba Fett, but I had to. Rules is rules.
Yep. It'd be cool if we got a new sculpt.
Which
like,
they showed.
Oh yeah, for the Rebel one, right? Old man Boba Fett, they said.
Old Boba Fett.
I can't imagine anybody would care if you used that sculpt in Empire.
Boba Fett.
No, yeah, right. Like it's
anyone would care.
Boba Fett. Oh no, Dad bod Fett. But my final thoughts are, these all look good. I'm excited for Shadow Collective because nothing in it seems over the curve. Like nothing seems, where I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, that's too crazy. Everything seems pretty like fine. Again, this is to be determined, but I'm excited because it looks like a faction you can put on the table and have a good time with, and it's not going to be like the new thing that's just always good, right? Like they take any game that releases anything, even Hunt Showdown, right? Like the new guns come out and they're just better than everything else. Like the Slate's just the best shotgun in the game now because the others just can't compete.
There's the tie-in.
It's but it's like new stuff usually is the best. So this is the first time where I see a bunch of whole new faction come out where it looks good, it looks playable, but it's not like I'm looking
forward to Satchin Double Mando.
Yeah, I mean that was cool, right? Like, and you just don't roll blanks. That's how you play them, right? Like, don't roll blanks with defense. But so I'm excited. We've been going for a little longer than I wanted to, just because it's fun. But
we had a lot to talk about.
We did. But I'll cut it. Hey, everybody, stay rad. Have a great night. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.